Hi, I'm Zach Stewart.
Laura Hotchkiss.
And I'm Daniel Kvoras. On this podcast, we improvise in character as hosts of a morning radio show in a fictional country called the Driftwood Isles.
Everything we say is made up, and none of the events, people, or places are real.
It's that simple. Now enjoy this episode of Good Morning Driftwood.
Welcome back to Good Morning Driftwood with me, Penelope MacGuffin, alongside my beloved co-hosts, Dirk Wiley.
Well, hey there, Penny.
And Bench PerDiem.
Hey, yeah.
And we are very excited here because, as you know, it's a very special Good Morning Driftwood. It's the last day of the month, which means it's cake day in the studio.
Hey-o. There we go. Happy for the cake day.
And every month we take turns as to who brings in cakes. And it was only our beloved co-host, who I'm sure has brought us the greatest cakes in the world, Dirk Wiley's turn.
I mean, I gotta be honest, I kind of forgot about Cake Day this month.
Forgot about Cake Day.
I really get excited about Cake Day, but I usually associate it with you guys bringing cake. And man, I just forgot about the cake this month.
It was on the calendar.
I've been away for 5 weeks, and all I could think about was, at least I'm going to make it back for Cake Day. And you're telling me there's no cake?
I see what you're doing, Bench. You're turning this around. You're turning this around on, we were expecting you to bring all this glorious food back from the road.
Some shoe caviar.
And now you getting back and I don't have cake for you. And now this is no, you're kicking me in the face for not having cake from my pal Bench.
Turning this back around implies that it's been directed one way already, which I don't think it has been.
I feel attacked right out of the gate. And it's valid because I should have brought cake and I don't have cake. But look, sometimes you expect cake and you get bread.
Oh, no.
And I did bring my loaf of bread that I bring every day.
No. Too many seeds.
Don't make this the moral of the story.
No.
Don't make it that
So
this
you guys
is
aren't going to accept my bread offering. It's a nice sourdough today.
I'll eat the bread, but don't try and make this.
I could put a candle in the bread.
You've not done as a good favor, and this isn't a learning moment for us as people.
In life,
do you think
you get your expectations up and you want cake, but life gives you bread, and that's more sustenance and that's more valuable.
Sorry, Dirk, you said candle. Do you think that all cakes are birthday cakes?
Obviously.
You can have cake when it's not your birthday.
Yeah, but then you become a new celebration. It's still candle-worthy when you have a cake. Whether it's not a birthday cake, could be a Christmas cake, could be a Tuesday cake, but you need a candle in that cake.
I can't believe
I can't argue that.
I cannot believe that instead of the moral of the story being you messed up and forgot to bring in cake, that you're trying to turn it into a lesson for us to learn about expectations and outcomes.
Sometimes you might not get the sweetness of a cake, but you'll get this bitter, savory satisfaction of a sourdough loaf.
I love a sourdough.
And that's just as satisfying sometimes.
I do love a sourdough.
I like sourdough. It's not as satisfying. It's satisfying.
Yeah.
But sometimes in life, you don't get the satisfaction of a cake.
Ever since you wrote that book.
You get the wonderful, savory crunch of a sourdough loaf.
Ever since you wrote that health book, that just every chapter starts sometimes in life.
Yeah. That's what life is. That's what books are. Little tastes of life. And each chapter is, hey, sometimes in life, yada, etc.
Sometimes in life, yada, etc.
etc.
Your sourdough is remarkable that it is crunchy on the inside. I still don't know how you do it, but it's impressive. It's
good
sourdough.
A Wiley family recipe. That sourdough starter has been in my family for generations. We found it on the Isles hundreds of years ago. We didn't actually create it. We found it.
Are you sure?
In the swamps to the south. And we just bake it into bread. And that's how I don't understand the exact chemistry of how it works as well to become crunchy on the inside.
And you're sure it's a sourdough starter?
Well, it tastes similar to sourdough, so we just call it sourdough.
It's good sourdough.
You guys have enjoyed it in the past.
Yeah,
that's also how you get the candles to stick in it, because the soft bit is on the outside. So, you can't really... If it was a normal bread loaf, you're not getting through that sourdough.
Yeah.
Sourdough, crispy, crunchy.
Sourdough crispy.
You know what I mean? So you're not going to be able to get a candle in there if you're going through that crispy crunchy. So you got to go into the soft
sense.
mush.
That makes sense.
Spongy, squeezy.
Not to make
Do you
this...
have any other descriptive words for bread? Because I'm really enjoying it.
Okay, well, you've got crispy crunchy for the outside of a normal sourdough.
Yeah.
You've got, what was it? Squeezy.
Mm-hmm.
Squeezy.
Mushy squeezy.
Mushy squeezy.
And then those are really the only two.
Those are the big ones.
Sometimes you get a fluff.
I would say you've got an anticipatory, when you're going in to take a bite of the sourdough, you get the waft.
Yes.
You get the sort of sourdough breeze that you get before you take a nice bite of sourdough bread. And I'd call that airy fairy.
That makes,
Airy fairy.
Because it's like the sourdough fairy is giving you like, ooh, here you come. The sourdough is coming to your lips. Aren't you about to enjoy this nice savory bread?
And the sourdough fairy, of course, is a big myth for kids. Also, it's a bedtime story. We all know about the sourdough fairy.
You say for kids, but there's a large generation of particularly males with beanie hats who are aged between 24 and 37 who also really believe in the sourdough fairy.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. We don't want to break the magic for them.
There's if you did a Venn diagram of men with beanie hats who believe in the
beards.
fairy, who also intersect with can only drink coffee if it's made in a really elaborate way. That's the Venn diagram.
The more complicated, the more usually you think just hot water and coffee grounds equals
That's
coffee.
That's how I drink it.
You're a caveman as far as these people are concerned. The more elaborate, the more Rube Goldberg-esque your contraption can be to create.
Can I just
essentially
say,
just bean water?
Those people
better.
are also they're never satisfied. They're always looking for more and better gear and how they can like refine their pour over technique, and like the drawdown time is not blah 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 blah. And what's the ground beds looking after that? They infuriate me to no end.
I went into a coffee shop in New Derrick that genuinely was a Rube Goldberg machine to get the coffee. Like
Bet you there were a lot of beanies in that shop.
You were like, flat white, please. And then you watched for 45 seconds as some little dominoes all that then hit a ball that then went and then like pressed the button on a kettle that then the steam came out and a little hot air balloon took off. It was honestly maybe one of the best pieces of theater I've seen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where did it go, the hot air balloon?
Oh, the hot air balloon then like it rose up until it got to a little platform that then the basket
pushed like
of the
lever?
and then the basket opened and then it put another little, it was like a ping pong ball this time that then like bounced down some stairs.
That tracks.
Yeah, the flat white was average at best.
Ooh.
I don't know if it was worth it.
Really? Because a lot of those guys say that the anticipation of the contraption makes the coffee better.
Yeah.
You didn't find that? I don't think that holds up scientifically because I think coffee is just the substance that it is.
Yeah.
It's not a ritual. It's a physical effect on your body and nothing else.
Yeah. There were notes of blackcurrant and green apple, but that's not really my faves. Yeah,
green apple.
Yeah.
It's
not
quite
really my faves.
tart. It's quite a brush.
Yeah.
A brusque, bitter kind
of
flavor.
You know what I want
to
notes off? Coffee.
You know what?
That's what I want notes off.
If my coffee has any
Hot
other
take from
flavor,
Benny.
I want it to taste like earth and hot.
Yeah.
Earth, hot coffee.
Yeah. That's what I want.
By earth, do you basically mean like dirt?
That's kind of what it tastes like.
Yeah.
It's
I get
dirt.
that.
Hot dirt that makes you fast.
Hot dirt that makes you fast. That is coffee.
That's coffee.
That's accurate. I can't fault that as a description of coffee.
Hey.
Hot, fast dirt.
I respect that.
Yeah.
You know,
that should be the name of a cafe.
Nice.
Bench, you should open a cafe called Hot Fast Dirt.
This is nice. This is so nice to have this kind of like back and forth banner with all three of us here. You know, we never got to do this for the past few weeks because someone was away.
Was off solving a murder.
But hey,
several.
Bench PerDiem has returned to the studio.
Indeed. Bravo. Welcome back, Bench. Happy to have you.
I'm back, baby. I'm very excited to be back. I missed you guys a lot. I missed you guys a lot.
All is right in the world again.
No, it was a rough time, both because I missed you guys and because of all the death that surrounded me.
You say death. There was a lot of murders.
Yeah.
Which is the worst kind of death,
I would argue.
I would say.
Yeah.
I feel like murder is a subcategory of death.
True.
Like death is the bigger, and then there's like a few types of death.
Yeah.
There's good, there's bad. Under bad, you got murder. And there's different kinds of murder. You got
under
manslaughter.
that is probably like genocide.
It's
like the worst kind of death.
not a great death.
That's really bad.
It's like the lowest bottom
I
of
would
the
say
death.
genocide is within the murder category.
That's true. It's then it becomes a matter of scale.
It's true. Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad to not be around that anymore. This is nice. I had it was a dark time.
Yeah, it's good you escaped that darkness to come back here where we can talk about genocide. Go on.
I did have 2 weeks after the deaths where I was not surrounded. I solved all the murders, and then
Success rate, 100% success rate on
100%
solving those murders.
Congratulations.
Well
Thank you.
done.
Thank you.
Bravo.
and then I had a fun little weekend tryst with Jacqueline.
With the lovely lady Jacqueline.
Have you seen Jacqueline ever since she
How's
came
it
back?
gone since then?
She disappeared in a puff of smoke.
In a puff of smoke. Not even like you woke up one morning and she wasn't there and you looked longingly at the empty spot in the bed next to you and said, "Oh, Jacqueline is skipping it." She
Bench,
literally, she magician style puff of smoked out.
Is this one of those situations again where like something really, not normal, but like the puff of smoke was actually a fire and she disappeared in a fire incident, but you just like to use your literary wordsmithing to make it sound a little bit more detective-y.
So, yes to
it's
all
a
of
metaphorical
those.
or figurative puff of smoke.
It was all of those things, and I can make sense of that. Here's what happened. Okay. I woke up one morning, and there she was, waiting for me to wake up. In a way
so she was like looking at you?
Yes, she was staring me dead in the eye.
Was she sitting... Paint us a picture. Where was she as she was looking at you?
She was standing and like crouching down in a way that looked like it would really hurt her back.
Standing and crouching?
On the bed?
Sorry, leaning down.
Spider-Man style? Like
no, she was on the floor.
No,
okay.
I'm gonna need a diagram. I'm sorry.
Okay,
can you draw this out?
Imagine a person standing upright
and
then just like bending down in a way that like really would hurt your shoulders and your back.
It's like
hunching.
Concave
hunching.
chest.
That's
like,
the word. Yeah.
Okay, hunching.
So she wasn't really. So she was. So ignore crouching.
Ignore crouching.
Okay.
That was a poor choice of words on your part.
It's fine. We don't have to.
Penny is not getting any imagery
I'm
from
sorry.
that.
I'm gonna need this to be scientifically exact in order to get the image. We know me. The imagination doesn't come freely.
It doesn't work for you.
So I'm sorry. We're gonna need. So what percentage turn was she facing you?
80.
Okay.
It was a heavy. It was a heavy hunch.
That helps.
And I open my eyes and I see her there. I'm like, whoa. And then
so she's crouched on the floor. She's kind of like looking up at you from being crouched on the floor. If you were in the bed,
down.
No, we're ignoring crouched. Remember, we're going with hunched.
Sure, but if she's hunched and her legs are bent, she's standing upright, or are her legs bent at the knee?
Her legs are not bent. This is why it looks pretty bad.
Does she have a full
crouch
knee
was
walk?
a terrible choice of words for
I know.
if her legs were
I
straight.
on that.
I don't know if we can get past this. I don't know because this is
if her legs were completely straight, then crouched was just a awful word choice.
Yeah.
Anyway, she started a fire and then ran away.
But like, was she looking like in terms of like standing near the bed?
Yeah, how close to the bed
was she?
Fairly close. She was waiting to see me wake up so she could
because the hunch action. If she's farther away from the bed, then the hunch is still kind of, it's more of like a body language thing. Whereas if she is right next to the bed, then the hunch is kind of her looming over you. And those two are very different things.
It was the latter.
She was looming over you.
Yeah.
What were the arms doing?
Good question.
They were kind of like on her hips and like
time. Let's do the time warp again. That's what she was doing. Are you sure she wasn't just doing the time warp? Because there's more and more sounds like the dance, the time warp.
It sounds like the time warp. It sounds like she was trying to have some fun with you. Sounds like you woke up and she's like,
you put your hands on your hips.
Yeah.
And her knees were in real tight.
So she hadn't got to that line of the song
I'm glad you got
yet.
to the knees because I was going to ask about that next.
They were, and I think she was about to do the is it a pelvic thrust?
This was an act of seduction.
It did drive me insane, yay. But then she once again did start a fire, so there could be smoke that she could disappear.
And you initially referred to that as a puff of smoke.
It was a puff of smoke, and
so
it was a fire.
started going quite fast, I imagine. Or did she start the fire, then wait for the smoke to get thick enough and maintain her position until the smoke was thick enough for her to disappear in?
The latter.
So she started a fire and then stood there staring at you.
And she insisted on doing it with 2 sticks. It took a really long time.
And this whole time you're just lying in bed, just watching
what are
this
you doing?
happen?
I haven't had my hot, fast earth yet, so I was just like, I don't know what's
So
happening.
you were in a fog just watching her?
I was in a fog first mentally and then physically. Smoke is a subsection of fog.
Smoke is probably a tier down, like worse fog because of what it does to your lungs.
It's really the murder of death.
The murder of fog? The murder of air?
The murder of fog.
Okay.
I mean, air if you go one layer above.
It's actually really interesting the way that you phrased that, because you do think that, like, yeah, the air is a fuel to the fire. So is it the death of, like, it's like the air is sacrificing itself for the better flame, you know? And I think that's really poetic.
That's really kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
Air gives rise to fire.
Yeah.
Air gives itself to become fire and smoke.
Wow. And so we all
and the
are.
best of us sometimes give ourselves to become the downfall of humanity.
What?
It really drives you insane.
I think that's what's happening here, and I'm being driven insane.
Well, let's. I'm glad to be back here, and we can do.
I'm glad that's all over.
Again.
I'm glad that's all over. Like, I'm glad you're back here, because it just sounded. I mean, I'm going to be honest. It just kind of sounded a bit like a holiday.
It's true.
Yeah.
All the murder talk. I mean, and you just said yourself, the last section of it was just you in loving rapture with Jacqueline.
I will say none of it, including the time with Jacqueline, was none of it was restful.
Okay, well, gentleman
rejuvenating in a
sleuthing
way.
is kind of a hobby of yours, so you essentially took off to enjoy your hobby
It
for a
was
little while.
significantly more work, again, including the tryst with Jacqueline. All of it was more work than this.
All right, well, we don't need to get into the intimate details of
Are
your
you
lovemaking.
sure? 'Cause
I don't
last
really
time
need.
You wanted so many more details than I was giving.
I think that's a mischaracterization of my questioning, and I'm a very.
Check the tapes.
All right.
Check the tape, folks.
Okay. You know what? Let's go a break and we'll check the tapes and we'll sort this out for once and for all.
All right, let's do this again.
Okay. Who would have thought that was what the tape said?
Yeah,
Told you.
pretty revealing tapes.
Wow.
I asked a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Specifically about the lovemaking.
Yeah.
And it's fine. And I love you guys for that.
Thank you.
That we're interested in the details of your life.
Yeah.
The minutia.
Yeah.
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 And I'm interested in your life. What's going on?
Here's another little way we can be interested in each other's lives. Obviously, it's almost New Year.
No.
Hey.
Which means it's time to set some New Year's resolutions. How many spins are you gonna do? We all obviously, January 1st, we start just standing, spinning round and round and round. We set our intention, how many we're gonna do, and then we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how many revolutions do you think you're gonna do this year?
I think I can get a clean 8,000.
8,000. That's more than your PB.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were like,
Are we not here just to surpass our best efforts
That's a good
in
point,
all
yeah.
aspects of life?
Yeah, what was
You
it?
only need to beat your own last best record.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Right.
Was it 7,867, something like that was your PB?
65.
65.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I was
so
going
rude,
for
Penny.
that clean 8. I've been gunning for that since my mid-20s.
Yeah.
And I just haven't been able to get out of the 7s.
Your technique of holding your arms right at your sides and then just doing the little pitter-patter with your feet as you spin in place is, quite frankly,
Call it the stomper.
yeah, stunning
technique.
to behold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of short, small steps. You sort of stomp around and become a little whirling dervish of a man.
You are so good at that thing that ballet dancers do where they focus on one
the
point
head.
and then the head almost rotates faster than the body because it's getting back to that point.
Just whip that head around.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
very impressive. It's
Yeah.
very impressive.
A lot of neck strength.
Yeah.
A lot of exercises over the rest of the year to work myself
Yeah.
up to it.
And then obviously January the 2nd and 3rd, a lot of just icing the neck muscles, just really bringing them back to
Yeah. It's my Super Bowl, basically.
yeah. Get those compression pads for the legs.
Yeah, get a
Those
sleeve.
You need a lot of
Little
core work as
sleeve
well
things,
to
yeah.
whip your shoulders
I will
around.
say the halftime show during your spinning is always my favorite part.
I get a new act every
Yeah,
year.
who'd you get this year?
Lila the dancing chihuahua.
Shut up.
Indeed. Yeah.
I love
Because
Lila.
Lila integrates herself with my spinning.
Yeah.
Lila's handler, Maurice, he throws Lila onto my head. So she's just whipping around and she does her little dance on my head as I continue spinning.
That's so good. So good. It honestly is mind-boggling how much it just how stunning a display it is all round.
It is. There's everything about it works. Again, also, not to be that guy, I do also love the snacks. The snacks in the commercials.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's part of it.
Well, I
people
think
pay a lot of money to advertise during your spinning.
this is it. Not all of us can be spinners. Some of us have to just be watchers.
Yeah.
And obviously after your, quite frankly, career-ending injury.
Yeah, that was really rough. I was good. And then I
You
tried
flew
to take
too
it
high.
far.
You flew too close to the sun,
Yeah.
some might say.
Real Icarus story.
But hey, I'm glad to be, on the sidelines coaching Dirk. Has really been. It makes me proud to watch you.
So
I could only
rewarding,
dream
that's
of getting to your 10,000. There's a short list of those who've reached 10,000 revolutions.
And it comes with a cost. It comes with a steep cost that I'm not sure that you should aim for that. But if you do, I will be there to help you.
We all remember when you shattered your pelvis that one year.
It was deeply, deeply painful. Again, I didn't.
Also, no offense, quite embarrassing.
Oh yeah.
I felt like you took both a physical toll, but also just your feelings were real hurt that year.
You
Yeah.
can watch that video on YouTube. It's gotten a lot of views.
Have you seen the one where they've put the music over it?
That's pretty good.
It's very good, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And they
quite
sort
funny.
of ramp up the voice so that it's all high pitched, so that after you get hurt, it's like, it's
Yeah,
like-
and they had to do that because when I get hurt, most people when they're hurt, their pitch goes up, mine goes down.
It was
like,
jarring. It was
oh,
like
no.
the devil has arrived.
Ouch! My pelvis hurts.
Yeah, it sounded like how like when there's someone on a TV show who's disguising their voice and like
Yes.
making a ransom note. It sounded like that. It was shocking.
Yeah, it really reminded me of the advert of the bowl of drink crashing through the wall. The
The Kool-Aid Man.
yes, those be the words.
For a second, I
bowl
wasn't sure
of
if you're not
drink.
saying it because you don't want to. It's like
No,
copyright
no,
infringement.
I literally could not remember.
The bowl of drink.
Ball of drink.
Sometimes people are like all doing the same thing, like they've all really like signed up to the same cult or something, and I'm like, wow, you all really drank the bowl of drink.
Indeed. Well, sometimes in life, you're the bowl of drink, and sometimes you're the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the bowl of drunk.
I loved chapter
That's if
14
you've had
of your
too
book.
many bowls of drink.
Oh, chapter
Then
14.
you become the bowl of drunk.
Hey, that's me January 2nd. Am I right?
Hey, there we
Hey.
go.
Bowl
Get
of
all those
drunk.
revolutions in. And you're going to be spinning, and your head's going to be spinning for different reasons.
Well,
January
not me
2nd.
anymore, but yeah.
Not you
Now,
anymore.
This is it. Every January 2nd as well, the queues at the minor injuries units are out the door because obviously it's a very dizzy time for the Isle. Very, very dizzy time.
Busiest day
Now,
of the year.
Penny, are you going to attempt to do your first full spin this year?
Well, listen, I don't want to set the bar too high. Okay.
It can't be set any lower
It is-
because you have not
Yeah,
completed one.
I just don't want to I just don't want people to have too high expectations. Not on January 1st.
Nobody
you know.
does. Nobody has high expectations
No.
for you in terms of revolutions at this point.
So far, 5 years in a row, you just got distracted in the middle of one spin and checked something
That
on
was-
your phone.
A real funny video I got sent. I don't know if I've made you watch it yet. It was a real funny.
Yeah, you made us watch it.
Yeah.
You made us watch it immediately.
Yeah, it
And we
was
said,
really
hey, can we get
funny.
back to this? And then you lost interest.
I guess I just don't fully believe in setting your intention for the revolutions. Like, what does it matter? Just because it's January 1st?
It's more symbolic
Yeah.
in terms of your
It's an
ambition for the year.
opportunity for you to reset.
Yeah.
like
And say like, hey, I want to accomplish something this year. And this is first step, my first chance to just sort of, on a small scale,
Yeah.
set an expectation and then meet that goal.
I think for me, I'm just like, I could do that any day of the year.
But do you-
Why?
Do you do
wait?
that?
Do you
no,
do that?
Don't really, you never.
I could.
We
I
all
shan't.
could.
I
You
shan't.
could, but you shan't.
I
Now
shan't.
you don't have to quote from your own book, Penny. I could, but I shan't.
It was a bestseller.
It was
for
a good
10
read.
weeks in
It
a row.
was a denial of the existence of love and ambition.
I just want.
I could, but I shan't.
I want women to know that whilst the world is your oyster, it doesn't have to be if you don't want it to be.
Yeah. Chapter 1, aim low.
Just,
Chapter 2, oysters are not that good.
I
Because
really
again, she also gets very distracted in her writing.
look. Everyone really talks highly of Chapter 8, which is just a beat by beat retelling of what I've watched up to now in Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, that book really went off the rails
I gotta say,
almost
though,
immediately.
Chapter 12 is also you retelling that again, not remembering that you already told that.
Yeah, they should have
it's-
caught
It's a
that in
great show.
editing.
Yeah.
It's a really good show.
It's a great show. I love
I've not
that show.
finished it yet, but it's a really good show. I'm like halfway
get
through
Yeah, because
distracted
season
too
two,
much.
I'm
chapter
distracted.
12, it doesn't go any further in the narrative
No.
of the show.
No.
It's just kind of worded similarly but different because you were
Yeah.
retelling it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't go any further.
No.
I'd had some thoughts between the first chapter I wrote on it and the second chapter I wrote on it. So as you'll notice, I was a lot more sympathetic to Lottie in the second chapter because I sat and I
The
thought,
second telling of it.
yeah, I sat and I thought, maybe I'm being too harsh on her. Maybe she's
Interesting.
not just a spooky witch. Maybe she is actually being a leader here, and we should respect that.
Do you think in the time between you forgetting that you told it and then decided to re-articulate the narrative, do you think that things happened in your own life to give you a certain empathy towards that character?
Probably.
Did you start a bowl of drink cult in the middle?
I didn't, but I did actually binge watch other shows, and then when you
That
start
did
to
not make it
see-
into the book.
didn't make it in the book, but you start to like see the overlapping narrative themes of shows that come out the same year. You know, it's like everyone suddenly had thoughts on the same thing.
Hmm.
And so you start seeing it from different angles. Isn't it amazing though how like there's all of these creatives in Hollywood and somehow they'll release an incredibly similar set of films all at the same time.
Does happen shockingly often.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's some
And that
of
was
them.
why chapter 14, you had that list of movies that you thought were similar,
Yeah.
some of which didn't feel that similar, but you were making some
Well,
interesting parallels.
there was like a period where I've forgotten the second film's name, but like Deep Blue
You
Sea.
say that in the book a lot too. I forgot this, that, or the other.
There
You
was
do
like-
no research.
There was
Yeah.
Deep Blue Sea came out, which was about like a mega shark attack, and there was another very similar film came out at the same time.
Saving Wiley.
No, that wasn't a shark. That was a whale. That's a different
Oh.
category and genre
Is it
entirely.
Saving Willy?
Is that not what it's
Free,
called?
Free
Willy.
Willy.
Free Willy.
You're freeing
Hmm.
him.
Basically the same thing.
Yeah.
I think I maybe watched like a localized
save him.
version of it, and then they, you know, kind of like a philosopher's
An
Stone
off-brand
sort of-
Free
yeah.
Willy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, sorry. I forgot. I just got distracted there. I was just thinking about what I need to get at the shops later.
We were talking about your book.
Oh, it's so
Talking
good,
about
isn't
you.
it? It's so good. I
Yeah.
just, yeah. Hey, look, 2 out of 3 of us writing books ain't bad.
Pretty good,
I'm
actually.
still working on mine.
Yeah.
I'm
Bench
still
is working on
mine.
that. How's that coming?
It's so long. I have so
Books
much to say.
generally are.
Yeah. I have it's a recap of all of my murder mysteries, I guess. But the thing is I keep writing them and then I do research. I'm like, oh, someone already wrote this. But like this happened to me.
Yeah.
A lot of your sleuthing and mysteries do end up being pretty similar
Yeah.
to books that have been written, movies that have been made, and actual murders that have happened in other parts of the world as well.
It's really weird that a lot of my personal history is in copyright.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do
Which
about that.
begs the
problem.
question, when you do get a murder, you should just start doing some research about similar sounding cases globally.
That's not a bad idea.
And that might give you point you in the right direction.
Interesting. I never have cell reception though when that happens.
Mm.
Yeah.
That also would seem to indicate that in Driftwood there are a lot of copycat killers if they're doing
Yeah, that makes
crimes
sense.
similar to
I should
things
start
that
Isn't
are
writing.
it weird
Yeah.
though? Like at the same time, Hollywood will release very similar films, and on this isle, killers will release very similar killings.
well, sometimes in life.
I was waiting for
Yeah, you
the.
keep going.
Sometimes in life.
Give him,
no, he's
give him a second.
buffering.
Give
He's
him a second.
buffering.
Give him a second.
Sometimes in life, two things happen in two different places that ultimately make us one.
That was really beautiful.
Wow.
I
See,
think
when it takes longer, sometimes it's better.
that's true.
It's not wrong.
That's really true. I'm going to need a minute to think
It's
about
true
that.
in life. Sometimes in life, that's true in life. And sometimes in life, that's true.
Oh, no, I think he's not. I think he's
I think he's stuck.
In
I think
love.
he's stuck.
I think he's stuck.
In
Oh.
love, it's true.
Uh-huh.
To take more time, it's better.
Well,
That worked.
yeah.
I
I mean,
got
I don't know
there.
if it's like entirely factually
I could probably
accurate, but,
clean
like,
up the wording of it, but
Yeah.
it
No,
was
I
a
don't
good
think you
point.
can.
Thank you, Bench.
I think you should write that down real quickly before you forget it, because you have that second book deal coming up, and you're going to need it.
This is good stuff.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Yeah, let's do it
This
during
is
the
good
break.
stuff.
Yeah.
Just write it down.
We'll pop to a break. You write it down, and then we'll see. Okay. It's actually a shame that we went to a break there, because Dirk had so many more pearls of wisdom.
I was at a fugue state. I was
Yeah.
rattling them off there.
Yeah. Your eyes actually changed color. It was kind of spooky.
Yeah, they changed color and then they changed
What color
back.
were they?
They were like bright white. Like
Oh,
it was weird.
Yeah, like the color and the pupils went.
Yeah.
You're just
I was just seeing the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real plugged in at the Matrix moment.
Mm.
Hey, that's creativity for you, baby.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. Well, hey, Dirk, what else have you been up to this week? Anything
I've
else
got
to tell
some
us?
news.
Ooh.
Actually,
Ooh.
yeah. The Driftwood Dirigible Company, Driftwood Isles' #1 airline, has announced a new fleet of themed blimps. They're trying to appeal to younger generations because statistics say the youth aren't utilizing blimp travel as much as older folks. So the Driftwood Dirigible Company is commissioning a line of blimps based on the works of John C. Reilly. Each blimp is covered in images of Reilly performing his most iconic roles, including Amos Hart from Chicago, Reed Rothschild from Boogie Nights, Dan Brown in The Hours, and Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph, among many
Yeah, that
more.
was him.
Yeah,
I was hoping for Dewey Cox.
they could introduce that. These are
Yeah.
just the ones they've announced in the press release. Yeah,
That's
They're-
a great idea.
they're hoping young people will want to ride on every one of the John C. Reilly blimps, collecting each ticket, because each ticket will also feature an image of the face of John C. Reilly's character from that particular film and blimp, and thereby achieve a, quote, full Reilly.
The youth do love John C. Reilly.
They do. He's big here
He's
among younger
such a big
generations.
deal. Like, he is a TikTok star. And who knew that a man that wears a beautiful three-piece tweed suits and a fetching hat would be really speaking to the youth of today?
He just gets it.
He gets them.
They
That's
say that
it.
all the time. People ask them, why do you love John C. Reilly so much?
Mm-hmm.
So very, very much. And they just say, guy gets it.
Because
Guy
you'd
gets
think it would be his more comedic turns in Walk Hard or Step Brothers, but really
No.
they are big for the John C. the John C. Reilly dramatic arts.
Like
Mr.
the
Cellophane
character.
is one of
Yeah.
the most popular Halloween costumes year after year.
that was a thing that I know a lot of people, when the movie Chicago came out, were upset that that song made it in, because a lot of people are saying that song is only in the musical to give the other actors time to prep for the next song. And here we do have screenings that are just a cellophane cut of Chicago that the youths are dying. They just cut out all the songs and scenes that he's not in.
It's only John C. Reilly's scenes.
Yeah.
I consider that song to be. I know that it's like to give other people a chance to
Yeah, in a
recover.
live musical,
like in a live musical. But they say that I think it's really to give them a chance to go back and think to themselves, how can I be more like John C. Reilly?
Mm.
You just know that they shot that scene. It's just Richard Gere and Renee Zellweger and Catherine Zeta-Jones are just
Standing off
like
screen.
staring, just like, how can I be more like him?
This guy gets it. It's probably what they were thinking.
I'm really excited. I mean, I know that the blimp is arguably the slowest form of travel, the most
Pretty
cumbersome.
inarguable at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's cumbersome.
Mhm.
And I mean, I once was taking a blimp back up north and a slight breeze got it, and I ended up way in the
Ooh,
west.
Bad luck there.
Um,
So yeah, you're never guaranteed to go where you think you're gonna go as well. And
But sometimes in life, you don't go where you think you're going to go,
let him finish.
but you go where you need to go.
Let him finish.
And then you go where you want to go.
Let him finish.
But then you go where you are.
that's beautiful. That's so beautiful.
This is a great day for
Your eyes.
my writing.
Oh, they're back.
Okay.
They're back.
They're back. Good.
Yeah, I think you might finish the second book today.
We could just have the dictation of this, and this will be the second book.
Yeah, I mean, we know the tapes exist. We checked tapes earlier. We know that the tapes are recording and that everything's fine with the tapes.
Sometimes, in the past, it has happened where someone forgot to put the tapes in.
Yeah.
Fucking Matthias.
Ridiculous. I can't believe Matthias would do that.
And sometimes-
it's like one of his only jobs.
Sometimes the cameras have a little different flashing color light and it freaks me out a little bit, but I'm pretty sure everything's fine with them.
Sometimes they turn blue instead of green.
Why would they have a different color light? Doesn't make any sense.
It's almost like they want to take part in the show. They want to tell us a story.
It is kind of confusing where some cameras have green light that means they're working and some have red that means it's recording. Just pick a color.
That's true.
Pick a lane.
Opposite colors that mean the same thing. What are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
Sometimes in life,
Oh, no, the eyes.
what is opposite for one person is the same for the other. Sometimes in life, what is good for one is bad for other.
Let him finish.
Sometimes in life, green good. Sometimes in life, red good.
Let him finish.
Sometimes in life, green and red, stop and go, front and back
Oh, and he's back.
are the same.
Oh.
I only remember saying are the same.
Yeah, your eyes turned normal before. That was you. That was present you.
That was all Dirk. Not fugue state Dirk. Not space Dirk.
Oh God, do we need to get the board back to add another dark to another state of dark?
There's so many under the Dirk category. There's so many subsections.
States of Dirk.
States of Dirk.
I
States of Dirk.
hate to look at the lower sections of those. It gives me no pride to look at the lower ends of that
Hey.
We
spectrum.
don't speak of genocide, Dirk.
Some of the states of dark we never even knew about. It was Terry Wu that told us about them because they only happen real deep in the party.
Yeah.
Terry Wu knows the deepest parts of my soul.
All of our souls, really.
Yeah.
Terry Wu, it's true, his musical talent allows him to tap into the deepest parts of people.
I spend 3 of the last 5 weeks in a confined space with Terry, and we shared a lot.
Weren't you glad to have Terry with you in those dark times?
It's like a breath of fresh air to have a familiar face in there and not a bunch of suspected murderers. He was a suspect as well, but it was always kind of like, oh, this is not going to be Terry.
Yeah.
He's a good
And
kid.
anytime there's like a guy that you don't want to be the murderer, it's probably not them.
Yeah. Anytime where you're like, oh man, it would really be sort of emotionally difficult, but in an interesting way for this one person to be the murderer, it's never them.
Never them.
Never them.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Much to everyone's relief,
Yeah. Phew.
Few.
You know who Terry Wu knows? John C. Reilly.
Really?
Yeah.
He's never told me about that.
Once I was hanging out with Terry Wu and he was like, you know who I just hung about with? He was like, we were on a boat together. We were just fishing. He's like, John C. Reilly.
He sounds like a guy you can just go fishing with.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
tracks.
both of them. Man, I can't believe you never told me that.
Yeah.
He's just hangs out with so many people just casually. It's like a normal day for him.
Yeah, I don't
It's
think he
unremarkable
thinks
for
that
him.
it's-
But
He spends a lot of time on Driftwood Island.
Yeah.
He's
John
like,
does?
Yeah.
wow.
He's like in cafes just smoking, writing his next script.
oh,
It's crazy that he's obviously known fully as an actor, but that he's got
He
to that
writes.
point now where in order to like fully use all of the John C. Reilly talents, he writes his own to make sure that it's all captured within.
in
Artist.
line with the Reilly milieu.
Yeah. Because why trust anyone else to fully capture it? Do it yourself.
It's true. And really that speaks to his abilities because he can be anyone at any time, any place. He's a brilliant actor. He can interpret anyone's words and make them his own in a way. But doesn't that make you want to wonder and want to know who he is at his core?
Yeah. You don't.
Sometimes in life, other people are ourselves. Sometimes in life, ourselves we must be. It's getting more Yoda, I feel like.
He's still in
There's
the fugue
fewer.
state. Wait,
There's like
it's not done.
fewer words. Yeah, but when he's in the fugue state, sometimes he goes into these like self-reflecting, like he edits himself, and it's really fascinating to be part of the conversation. It does feel as though there's fewer and fewer words in these, but the meaning's still there.
It's like jazz. It's the words that are not there.
Is that better, do you think?
I think it's better the fewer words sometimes. I think you're just like getting to the point. Because like in jazz, it's better the less there is.
So that's one way of interpreting it's the notes that aren't played. Sometimes in jazz, it's better when there's no jazz.
Just less jazz.
Hey, that's why we love the cellophane cut of Chicago. It's just less jazz.
All that jazz?
Amen.
No.
Less jazz.
Too much
Too
jazz.
much jazz.
Too much jazz.
Give me like 20-25% less jazz. That would be my note on the film. Just rein it in.
The moral of the film is that jazz and alcohol are bad. I mean, that's the in-universe moral of their story.
I watched La La Land, and the whole thing with it was...
Did you get it now? Do you get jazz now?
I get it now, but it felt like the whole film was like, hey, I'm going to teach you jazz.
Yeah.
And then they were like, hey, audience, we're going to punch you in the face with some of the saddest shit we could think of right now.
Mm-hmm. And
then they were like, but jazz still exists. And I was like, I don't care about that.
Fun fact, you can describe Whiplash exactly the same way.
Yeah, I'm sitting over here feeling emotions now. Don't put jazz in front of me. That's the least emotion you can give someone. What, you want me to just like work out myself what the emotion should be? No.
Again, it's the emotions you don't feel.
Oh my God, honestly. Hey, it's real handy that Dirk that you keep bringing up, or at least write in your book, because
he's not back yet. It's still fugue.
Still fugue state. That's totally fine, because today's sponsor is, after all, Dirk Wiley.
Oh.
Dirk Wiley's first book. And quite frankly,
he is not responding to this.
He's not responding to this because he's still self-editing book 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to personally say, I think it's a great read. Fun for all the family, even your family pets.
Mm-hmm. Dalma loves it. Yeah. Dalma, my dog.
And I just think that if you haven't tried it yet, you should give a shot to the book, because it really not only gives you lessons for life, but also a little glimpse into the man, the myth, the legend, the fugue state, the 174 at last count different versions of Dirk Wiley. Now, I know that he's not put all of them into the book, but there's at least 74, I think.
Also, this is all you're just reading. This is the quote you gave for the back cover, right?
Literally the quote I gave for the hardback edition.
Yeah, it's a really long blurb.
Yeah, the blurb that you gave was pretty short, I'll be honest.
He's my friend and I like it.
Yeah. And hey, he's our friend and we like it. Because sometimes in life, Dirk goes into a fugue state.
Oh no, Penny's eyes just turned white. This is fugue Penny.
Sometimes in life, jazz is bad.
She doesn't mean it. She's in a fugue state.
Here's the thing about jazz. There's too many instruments.
What's that, Matthias? We gotta go?
No, Matthias, no. I have opinions.
Penny, I see you in the fugue state, Penny.
I have
Good
thoughts.
Morning Driftwood is executive produced and hosted by Zach Stewart, Laura Hotchkiss, and Daniel Kvoras. Engineered and produced by Zach Stewart. Music by Daniel Kvoras.